What is up, everybody? It's your boy Mike of Mike's Community. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about why I pretty much stopped consuming alcohol, like, completely. Um, Now I remember making a video about this like some years ago on my other channel, but or not even years ago, last year on my other channel. Um, and I ended up like drinking again after that, and it was I don't want to say it was a low point because it wasn't. I was having fun. It wasn't really a low point or anything. I just was having fun. I was still drinking. I was still partying and stuff like that. And then randomly, it was September. Well, really, the last drink I had was August of 2024. Um, and around September, I, when I was on the ship, I had already made it. I mean, by that point, I already decided I didn't want to drink, but it was really like I really made the decision not to drink in September. You know what I'm saying? Like around August, I had already like, okay, I don't really want to party as much. But then September, I was like, I don't want to drink at all. And I've talked about it here and there, you know what I'm saying? But I genuinely have no desire to consume any kind of alcohol. Like, not even for fun. I learned that the only reason I drank alcohol was because it was for fun. That was the only reason I was like, hey, I like to party, and when people party, they tend to drink alcohol, do whatever. And again, I have nothing against people that do drink. If you drink to have fun, do whatever, by all means, you do whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it was crazy because it was kind of cold turkey. I just was, and I've never had a problem with alcohol. Now, don't get me wrong. I've done dumb stuff. I've done very dumb stuff while drinking. I can name a few. If y'all know me from my other channel, I do remember I spent $10,000 in one night while very drunk. You know what I'm saying? So I that might constitute as an issue, but in all together, I didn't really have an issue with drinking. I just, if I wanted to stop, I could. I always knew that I could. If I didn't want to drink anymore, I knew I would be like, hey, I'm done drinking, because I was inherently a social drinker. That was the only time I drank to socially. I wouldn't just, well, it started, I caught myself starting to drink just to drink, and that's when it kind of, it hit me, because I was on a ship and we wouldn't even be going out or anything like that. This is when I was on the ship in Texas, in Orange, Texas. um, I was, yeah, we would go out, we would party, whatever, but then it came to a point where we was just sitting on the ship and we would buy bottles and we would just be sipping, you know, just to watch a movie. We would literally be pouring like like anything, sipping all night, like all night, every night. And even then, that didn't really hit me for real. That was summertime 2024, you know what I'm saying? It didn't even hit me all that much then. I was still drinking. I didn't find it an issue, you know what I'm saying? I was like, as long as I'm still functioning, I don't care, you know. Um, and to be honest, it really beneficial of health, yeah, that is a reason, but that wasn't the reason. I always knew if I stopped drinking, it would benefit my health, but that wasn't the main reason. I was like, I don't really care. I've always been a healthy dude, all things considered. You know what I'm saying? I was always active. I'm always running. You know what I'm saying? Running and working out, and I always, like, the food that I ate, I was pretty on top of it. I've always been on top of it, so I didn't always overindulge in like a lot of processed foods. You know what I'm saying? I was never really that guy. So I was always relatively healthy, but I was also consuming a copious amount of alcohol. It got, like I said, it got to a point, it was every day we was drinking. Um, and I'm not saying we was like drinking bottles upon bottles, but we would get a bottle, like we would all get a bottle and just sit, and we would just be killing the bottle. You know what I'm saying? It came to the point where we was like 2 3 bottles a night. Not just me, but like it was really just like 2 or 3 of us, you know what I'm saying, sitting in the room chilling, you know what I'm saying. It'd be like a random Tuesday. We would just kill a bottle, and it kind of hit me like later on. I was like, yeah, this is a lot of alcohol that I drink, you know what I'm saying. And I just decided I don't want to do that anymore, So when I got on the ship in 2024, I had my decision had already been made. I was like, man, I don't want to drink, blah blah. And then it turned into first it turned into, man, I have to force myself not to drink. Then it turned into, I was like, I don't really care to drink, you know what I'm saying. So when I would go out, like with different friends, at first I was like, I don't really want to go out for real, because I don't want to be in an environment where I would drink, you know. And then it turned into, I don't care if I'm in the same environment, I don't want alcohol, and don't get me wrong, there was some times when I was like, man, I want to party with everybody, you know what I'm saying. I want to have the same feeling as everybody else is having, especially during like New Year's and stuff like that, because I was on the ship at that time, and I know everybody was going out partying, you know what I'm saying. We was in Dubai, and I just was like, nah, I really don't want to go out, you know. So I had more of a fear of not being there. Not a fear, I had more of a desire of being where everybody else was, as opposed to wanting to do what everybody else was doing. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to be in the environment, which I could have, but I just knew in my mind, I was like, hey, it's gonna be New Year's. You might like feel inclined to have a drink, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody was already telling me, like the whole time I was on the ship, everyone was like, man, Mike, you gotta have one drink with me, this is and that. And don't get me wrong, I have nothing against people that drink. Literally, I was just drinking last year, so I have nothing against people that drink. But a lot of people that knew me or see my channel, they knew that I used to party, my other channel. They knew that I used to party. I used to like really party, like yeah, I used to party, and so a lot of them wanted to see that side of me, you know what I'm saying. So they was like, oh, can you at least on New Year's, come out, have a drink with us? And I was telling everybody maybe, and the closer we got to New Year's, the less inclined I wanted to drink, which was crazy, because I was like, oh, it's a celebration, but the less inclined I felt to drink. I was like, I really don't want any alcohol right now. And I'm not the type that would tell people like, oh yeah, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, because that's just not me. I'm like, if you're gonna go do whatever you want, I'm never gonna stop you from doing whatever you want, unless you're really about to hurt yourself, like in the moment. You do whatever you want, you know what I'm saying. I've always been that guy. Like, if you wanna go party, do a line of Coca-Cola, you know what I'm saying, without the cola. But if you want to do, you do whatever you want, and I'm never gonna stop you. I might say, hey, maybe you shouldn't, but I'm gonna let you do whatever you want. I've always been that guy. um and I would never, and also, if you're telling me you don't want to drink or whatever, I was never the guy to be like, hey man, just one, hey man, you can have. I was never that guy either, so. But it was just funny on the ship that there was a lot of people that knew me, or just knew me from my videos, or knew me from like other ships, that was like, man, Mike, come on, let's just have a drink, you know what I'm saying? Let's do this one time. Just one drink is gonna kill you. And they're right. The one drink wouldn't have killed me. It wouldn't have done anything to me. You know what I'm saying? I am pretty strong-willed. I could have definitely had that one drink, but I had, I don't know what it was. I had already made the decision I don't want to drink, and I held to it. You know what I'm saying? And here I am. What is it? September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Almost done with April, or April, May. Almost done with June. So, well, no, it's still the beginning of June, but it's June. I'm 10 months. I haven't had a drink yet. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to anytime soon. I know there's a couple of weddings that is happening from my friends. They are about to be getting married next year. Shout out to Bunso Bites. You know what I'm saying? I might link their channel here, but shout out to them. But yeah, they're having a wedding. I don't know if there's gonna be any alcohol there or whatnot, but even then, I don't see myself drinking. But he is my best friend, so I might if he does. But that would be the only time, and that's definitely gonna be well over a year before I've had my first drink. Because even this next tour, I already know I'm not drinking. You know what I'm saying? I already feel that I'm not, because I just don't have a desire to. It's funny because people will be like, "Oh, you're gonna go out, you're gonna go party," and I'm like, "No, I promise you, I'm just not." You know what I'm saying? I just simply don't want to, and that's kind of how I've carried it. But yeah, this is just a little glimpse in my mind. You know what I'm saying? I might show you a little bit of me back in the day. You know, I did have fun, but yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys, I hope everybody's having a good day. I guess really I wanted to bring this up on this channel because this is a channel made personally for me. You know, like, yes, I want to build a community, but I also want you guys to actually know who I am. You know, this is who I am as a person, this is what I do, and this is like how I live my life. So yeah, I hope this, I don't want to say this helped. If you're thinking of going sober, I guess, I don't know how to say it. If you're thinking of not drinking anymore or ceasing the consumption of alcohol, good luck. If this helps you, I don't know how it would, but if this helps you, I'm glad it does. You know what I'm saying? And my comments are always open if you ever want to talk about that. But yeah, here's to 10 months, actually almost a year. Here's to almost a year of no alcohol. But I'll talk to you guys later. I love y'all, and don't forget to hit that like down below. And if you like this kind of content, and want to see more about like me in general and how I'm trying to build this community, hit that subscribe. You know, it's time to grow here, and we're gonna do it together. Bye.